UK True Crime Stories. She left for her morning walk along the cliffs, a familiar routine. But when Eleanor Davies didn't return, the quiet coastal town of Portwen was plunged into a mystery that would defy belief. Welcome to UK True Crime Stories, Episode 10. I'm Sophie, and today we have 3 cases that will stay with you. First, a chilling tale of deception from Northern Ireland, then a look at a community left reeling after a senseless act, and finally, we'll return to that opening story. Stay with us to the end, we'll come back to that opening story, and trust me, the truth is even stranger than it sounds. Our first case takes us to the quiet, residential streets of Lurgan, County Armagh, in December of 2022. It was a time of year usually filled with festive cheer, with Christmas lights twinkling and families preparing for the holidays. But for one family, that cheer was shattered by an unimaginable tragedy. Natalie McCullagh's, a 32-year-old woman, was found dead in her home. She was 15 weeks pregnant. The discovery sent shockwaves through the close-knit community. Who could do such a thing? And why?
Sophie, the initial investigation must have been incredibly difficult. A pregnant woman, found dead in her own home just weeks before Christmas. What were the immediate challenges for the police?
Enormous, Dan. The scene was devastating. Detectives from the Police Service of Northern Ireland, or PSNI, immediately launched a murder investigation. They were looking for any clue, any witness, anything that could shed light on what had happened to Natalie. The community was gripped by fear and confusion, desperate for answers.
And that's where the story takes a truly unusual turn, isn't it? Because the man eventually charged with Natalie's murder, Stephen McCullough, had what he thought was an ironclad alibi.
He certainly did. Stephen McCullough, a YouTuber, had meticulously crafted a cover story that, on the surface, seemed impossible to break. On the very night Natalie McCullagh was murdered, McCullough was live streaming himself playing video games online. 4 hours. His followers watched, commenting, believing they were seeing him live, in real time, at his home, miles away from Natalie's. It was an alibi designed to be unimpeachable, broadcast for the world to see.
A gaming livestream as an alibi. That's a level of planning and audacity we rarely see. How did the police even begin to unravel something like that? It sounds technically challenging.
It was, Dan, a truly modern challenge for investigators. The PSNI had to dig deep into the digital footprint. They didn't just take the live stream at face value. They started looking at the details. Was it truly live? Were there any inconsistencies? They analyzed metadata, IP addresses, network traffic, and even the subtle nuances of the video itself. They looked at cell phone data, CCTV footage from the surrounding areas, every traditional investigative tool, but now layered with complex digital forensics.
So, it wasn't enough to just see him on screen. They had to prove it wasn't happening in real time. What was the key piece of evidence that broke through that digital facade?
The devil, as always, was in the details. Investigators discovered that the live stream was not live at all. It was a pre-recorded session, meticulously timed and broadcast to appear as if it were happening in the moment. McCullough had recorded himself playing games days earlier, and then simply set it to stream at the critical time. While his digital avatar was battling monsters online, Stephen McCullough himself was elsewhere.
Chilling. So he was essentially acting out a performance for his viewers while simultaneously committing a horrific crime. That speaks to a profound level of premeditation.
It does. The prosecution presented a compelling case, showing how McCullough had left his own home, traveled to Natalie's, committed the murder, and then returned, all while his pre-recorded alibi played out online. The jury heard how his phone had traveled between the 2 locations, how CCTV footage placed him near Natalie's home, and how forensic evidence linked him directly to the scene. The digital alibi, once thought unbreakable, became just another layer of his deception, painstakingly peeled back by determined investigators.
And the outcome? Justice for Natalie?
Absolutely. After a thorough trial, Stephen McCullough was found guilty of Natalie McCullagh's murder. It was a stark reminder that even in our increasingly digital world, the truth, and dedicated detective work, will ultimately prevail. Natalie's family, who had endured such pain and uncertainty, finally saw justice delivered.
Stories like this one don't get told unless people are listening. If you're new here, hit subscribe. We cover real UK cases every single day, and you don't want to miss what's coming. Sophie, the next case we're looking at took investigators years to even begin to understand. But before that, we turn our attention to an incident that shook a community not with a single act of violence, but with a targeted attack that left many feeling vulnerable and shocked. This happened just this week, on Monday, in northwest London.
A truly disheartening event, Dan.
It was. The incident involved ambulances belonging to a Jewish community charity. These vehicles, vital lifelines, were deliberately set on fire. Imagine waking up to that news, knowing that a service dedicated to helping people, providing emergency care, had been targeted in such a senseless way.
It's hard to grasp the mindset behind such an act. These aren't just vehicles, they represent care, support, and a fundamental service to a community. To attack them is to attack the very fabric of that community's safety net.
Precisely. The charity itself provides crucial medical transport and first responder services. These ambulances are often the first on the scene, responding to medical emergencies, providing comfort and aid. And to have them deliberately torched. The message it sends is profoundly disturbing.
The reaction from the local Jewish community, and indeed from across London, was one of both shock and deep sadness. Many spoke of it as shocking but not unexpected, which itself is a chilling statement, reflecting underlying tensions. It highlights the vulnerability felt by some communities, even in seemingly peaceful times.
The police, of course, are investigating this as arson. They'll be looking at CCTV, speaking to witnesses, trying to understand if this was a random act of vandalism or something more sinister, a targeted hate crime. The motivation behind such an act is as important as the act itself.
And the impact goes beyond just the material damage. Replacing ambulances is costly and time-consuming, but the emotional toll, the sense of violation, that lingers far longer. It forces people to question their safety, their belonging. It undermines the trust that communities need to thrive.
Yet, in the face of such adversity, what we often see, Sophie, is incredible resilience. Communities coming together, offering support, ensuring that these vital services can continue. It's a testament to the human spirit.
I never get used to these. If you've been sharing these episodes with friends, thank you. It genuinely helps more people discover the channel. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And now, as promised, we return to the cold open. The story of Eleanor Davies and her disappearance from the picturesque coastal town of Portwen.
I remember that line, Sophie. She left for her morning walk along the cliffs. But when Eleanor Davies didn't return, the quiet coastal town of Portwen was plunged into a mystery that would defy belief. What happened to Eleanor?
Well, Dan, the initial hours were filled with frantic concern. Eleanor, a woman in her late 40s, was known for her daily walks along the rugged cliffs overlooking the sea. When she failed to return, her husband, Robert, immediately raised the alarm. Local search and rescue teams, the Coast Guard, and police were mobilized. Dog units scoured the cliff paths, boats searched the choppy waters below. The entire town held its breath.
A search like that, especially in a coastal area, can be incredibly challenging. Did they find any immediate clues? A dropped item? A footprint?
Nothing. Not a trace. It was as if she had simply vanished into thin air. Her car was still in the driveway, her purse and phone were on the kitchen counter. It was completely out of character. Eleanor was meticulous, always informing Robert of her plans. The disappearance quickly became a full-scale missing persons investigation.
So, the police would have been considering every possibility. An accident, a fall from the cliffs. Or something more sinister.
All possibilities were on the table. But as days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the lack of any physical evidence became increasingly perplexing. No body. No signs of a struggle. No ransom demands. Robert was questioned extensively, but he had a solid alibi and was visibly distraught. The community rallied around him, offering support, but also whispering. Everyone wondered, what really happened to Eleanor Davies?
The pressure on the investigators must have been immense. A missing person, no leads, a baffled community. How did they eventually make a breakthrough?
The breakthrough came from an unexpected place, Dan. Not from a forensic clue at the cliffs, or a witness spotting something suspicious. It came from a small, almost imperceptible detail in Eleanor's life. A bank statement, reviewed months after her disappearance, showed a series of small, regular withdrawals from an ATM far from Portwen. Withdrawals that had started asterisk after asterisk she vanished.
That's impossible, unless
Eleanor Davies wasn't gone at all. The police followed this new lead, quietly, discreetly. They reviewed CCTV footage from the ATM locations. And there she was. Eleanor Davies. Alive. And very much not missing.
So, she had faked her own disappearance? For what reason?
It was a complex and rather sad story, as it often is in these cases. Eleanor, it turned out, had been feeling increasingly overwhelmed by her life in Portwen. The routines, the expectations, the quiet pressure of small-town living. She longed for a fresh start, a new identity, a completely different life. She had meticulously planned her escape for months, setting up a new bank account, securing a small flat in a different county, and even changing her appearance slightly. Her morning walk was simply her chosen exit strategy.
So the mystery wasn't about a tragedy, but a deception. And the consequences for her?
Well, the relief for Robert and the community was immense, knowing she was alive. But there was also a profound sense of betrayal. Eleanor was arrested for wasting police time, and for fraud related to some minor financial schemes she'd enacted to fund her new life. She pleaded guilty, expressing deep regret for the pain she had caused. It was a case that highlighted the hidden struggles people can face, and the lengths some will go to escape their reality, even if it means leaving behind a trail of confusion and heartbreak.
That's UK True Crime Stories for today, episode 10. These stories are inspired by real documented cases. If today's episode moved you, share it with someone who'd appreciate it. It really does make a difference. If you have information about any unsolved case, please contact Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111, anonymously, anytime. Subscribe for more true crime every day, and if you're interested in real UK money stories, debt, savings, financial freedom, check out our sister channel UK Stories.